All right, everyone. So here we are on Higgsfield, and many of you probably might feel a little overwhelmed by all these tabs, all these cards showing you all these different features. But we're going to keep it real simple for this video. We're going to go step by step and explain everything for you guys so that you have a complete guide on what everything is and how to use it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to image, and I want to show you guys the foundation of generating images first on Higgsfield, because images are usually the baseline for everything else that you create. If you want to create videos, multi-shots, it's always best if you can understand images, you can understand videos and how they work. So we're going to start with the image tab. And as you hover over, you'll see that there's features and then models. Features are the different types of things that you can do with the actual image models. And then models are different providers that generate you different types of outputs. For example, Nano Banana 2 is Google's image model. GPT Image 2 is ChatGPT's image model. And then even Higgsfield themselves has their own AI models that generate specific types of images. And each model, guys, are good at different things that we'll talk about. So we're going to get into that as well. But the first thing I want to show you guys is once you come off of image, you'll see right here, this is your image history. So these are all the images that I've created myself with my prompts. And then you'll also see down here, this is the chat bar for your image generation. So you'll basically put your prompts in here, like you'll type out your prompts, and then you can select the image model that you want right here. For example, if I want to use GPT Image 2, I'll click GPT Image 2. Your image quality, you can click low, medium, and high, and based on the quality you select is how many credits in your subscription you'll end up using. High will give you the best quality, and then obviously low and medium in between. You can actually click the resolution as well. So the resolution is how many pixels are actually in the image. The higher you go, the better the image quality and the nicer it's going to look. And then the aspect ratio is going to be whether you have a square, rectangular, or vertical image. Typically, guys, 9:16 is your Instagram style format. And then your 21:9 will be like that more cinematic style video, and then your 3:4 is typically what you'll find on Instagram for photos. And then batch size is how many images do you want Higgsfield to generate for you with this prompt and all of these settings. You can tell it to generate one image, or you can go as high up to 4. So now that we've kind of broken down what the first tab looks like and how you generate images, let's go to community. And the reason I want to go to community is because if you have a good idea of what people are generating, what creative element you're in and what you want to create, but then also you're able to see how people are prompting, it's going to make your life so easy. So let's get like inspired by something here. I'm just going to scroll and see like what exactly the community is posting. And this image of this girl caught my eye here, retro-like, and so, yeah, let's take a click on it. And once you click on an image, guys, you'll see right here on the right is your prompt. Now, one thing you'll see is the prompt is essentially what instructions you give the image model to tell it to make your image. What specific instructions are you giving it so that it can make what exactly you want? All right, and so now let's scroll and find another one. This dog seems really neat with this like fur coat sweater. And you'll see here on the prompt it says, a medium shot captures a slender dog walking through a snowy landscape. The dog is dressed in a striking lavender blue fluffy wool coat with a distinct collar and wears brown and beige protective boots on his leg. So another really detailed prompt you'll see if we kind of look at this aesthetic image here. A high-angle medium shot features a modern minimalist side table made of brushed stainless steel, showcasing a metallic texture with soft reflections. Atop the table, a mushroom-shaped lamp and an ashtray emphasize the table's clean geometric design. So one of the things I want you guys to take away from all of these images is that the prompt is what drives the output, guys. the more detailed your prompt is, the better and stronger your prompt is, the better result you're going to get out of the AI. That's how these AI models work. If you give them as much direction and as much detail as possible, they're going to be able to make an image that you like. So what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to hop into Miro board, and I'm going to share with you guys an example of a prompt that's bad, a prompt that's decent, and a prompt that's good, and also give you guys a prompt framework that you can use for generating all your images in the future, as this is the foundation of everything that you're going to be doing using Higgsfield or any of these AI models. So let's hop in a Miro board and talk prompts. Let's talk about the prompt overview and how to make really strong prompts. Because like I said in the intro, the detail behind your prompts is going to determine the output that you get from the AI, whether you get what you want and what you kind of had in your head, or the AI is just going to give you a lot of bad outputs and things that you don't want. So behind every great prompt, guys, is layers. Because again, the more detail you give to the AI, the more it actually understands specifically what you're looking for. And that's why good prompts are not just one layer, they're multiple layers put together to give the AI as much detail as possible. And let's go through those layers together. So layer one is, what type of output is this? And by output, we're talking, what's the overall image that we're looking to create? Is it a cinematic live action feel? Is this something that looks like it was shot on VHS handheld? Is this a natural UGC, potentially shot on iPhone? Or is this like an animated type of image or video? So that's layer number one, your medium. Layer two is going to be the subject. What or who is the main focus? This is basically your product. If you're doing maybe like a cinematic style ad for, a product you're selling, whether it's a young man or an old woman, could be the subject of the image or video, a child, and who is the main focus? That's the subject. Layer number three is the action and the pose. What is the actual activity? Is this person holding their phone? Are they posing with a matcha or a coffee? Are they mid-laugh? And mind you guys, these vary between image and video, because with image, the action could be very still because, for example, nothing's happening. There aren't multiple frames, but in video, there's multiple frames. So you're going to have to be a little more descriptive here in action and pose. For example, a layer three for an image prompt could be, she's posing with a matcha mid-laugh. That same layer, if you're trying to get a video, could be she's, posing with a matcha mid-laugh as she twirls her hair and looks at a friend. That'll be something that gives you a lot more descriptive video and could be similar to maybe what you're looking for. So keep that in mind. Every layer can vary from image to video. Layer number four is the environment. Where is this taking place? In the passenger seat of a car, on a city-side street, or a beach on the West Coast. Layer number five is the style and the vibe. What's the aesthetic that you're going for? Is this something that's shot moody night aesthetic? Is it kind of warm and sunny? Or is it its soft golden tones? Layer number five, guys, you don't have to be as descriptive for if you nail 1 through 4. Typically, this is the one you don't have to add as much, but if you get number 1 through 4 with as much detail as possible, 5 is the one where you don't have to do as much work. And then layer number 6 are the technical details. For example, was this shot on iPhone 16? What's the focal length? And all the focal length is how close essentially the image is to the lens. Is this a very wide angle shot, like maybe 16 millimeter? Or is it very, very tight and you're shooting from far away, like 100 millimeters? And then the aperture, guys, if you've ever noticed when those images that have a lot of motion blur behind them, the lower the aperture is, the more motion blur there is behind an image. And you don't have to learn all of these terms, guys, in detail, but if you do, it's going to help you have a lot more control over the outputs that the AI is giving you. So this is your 6-layer prompt framework. If you want to get the best outputs possible, you should always follow this, especially if you're a beginner, because you're just building a good base of fundamentals. If you're a lot more advanced, you can start getting, a little tricky and neat, and you could take certain things out. But I would highly recommend always following the 6-layer prompt framework to get the best results possible. And now I'm actually going to show you what the images look like if you only use 1 layer and then how the images evolve as you stack multiple layers as well. Now let's go over the prompt layers all the way up from layer 1, medium, 1 and 2, medium and subject, all the way up to layers 1 through 6, including all of them. This really does determine how AI gives your output. So let's start with number 1. You'll see ultra realistic portrait photography. You'll just see, you know, we have a woman right here. Pretty good photo, but there's just not a lot of details that we controlled for in this one. Which is why, like, if there was something specific we wanted, maybe a pose, or even maybe we wanted a man with a specific color of hair, we just don't get that here. In this layer, medium and subject, you'll see we added the subject saying ultra realistic portrait photography of a young woman, early 30s, natural freckles, and wavy dark hair. You'll see AI now with the subject was able to give us a much more detailed image, as opposed to this one. You'll see that this woman's kind of Caucasian and she has like lighter brown hair. This woman seems like more, you know, like Latina. She's got that wavy dark hair and, you know, early 30s. This woman looks like a bit in her younger 20s. So you get the idea of adding the subject layer onto the prompt. And now we go to action and pose. So we take the same avatar. Now we have ultra realistic portrait photography, same woman, early 30s, natural freckles, wavy dark hair, but now she's looking directly in the lens with a soft half smile, one hand lightly touching her collarbone. So because we added in the action or pose layer, now we were able to get an image with her touching her collarbone, and you see she's cracking a half smile, and she's also looking directly into the lens. If we wanted her to look maybe off put or maybe pose off guard, we could also change that here in the action and pose layer. Now let's add on the environment layer, guys. So same prompt workflow. All we did now was just add on layer 4, which is standing against a warm interior background, soft evening light coming from a window to our left, and candles in the distance. So now you see, same image essentially. We got the window in the background, we got the candles, and we have a soft evening light, which pretty much changed the image output. You see her skin is a lot more gold and darker as opposed to this one. When we add on the style and vibe in layer 5, you'll see we get a bit of a different atmosphere, intimate and quiet atmosphere, golden warm tones, the feeling of a private moment. So this right here, guys, you'll see it even gave her a bit of a different article of clothing, like this little half sweater where she's got the shoulder showing. You'll see that this kind of brought the image to life, like it gave it a lot of flavor. And that's what you get in the style and vibe. If you want to really, really get creative, this is the layer to do it. You'll see in the very last layer, same prompt again. All we did was add on the technical details, which is the type of camera that we shot it on. Shot on a Hasselblad H6D. 85 millimeter lens. We gave the aperture f2.8, and we even added the film and focus in the background. So you see this, guys, is as much detail as we could have given AI, because we added in the technical details on the type of film, the aperture, the focal length, and even the camera to determine the output. So I hope this gives you guys a great idea of what the different layers can give AI and the detail in the output once you use all of these layers correctly. Now, 2 things I want to say. 1, you don't have to use all of these layers all the time. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend work your way up to using all of these. Start by generating images with 1 layer, then move on to adding in a subject, then move on to adding in an action and a pose, and so on and so forth until this becomes your new normal and you're comfortable with understanding, okay, what type of prompts do I like for what I like to give? Because some things and images you may want, you may not need to go as in as much detail as this. You may want to only go 1 through 4, and that's enough for you. Or if you're someone that's really creative, you may use 1 through 6 all the time. It also depends on the use case that you're using it for. For example, if you want to make a lot of cinematography, film-based stuff, going 1 through 6 is very beneficial for you. Sometimes if you want to just make UGC level stuff, you know, 1 through 3 or 1 through 4 may be best for you, but you don't have to use 1 through 6, especially if you're a beginner. I highly recommend moving your way up these prompt layers until you get really good and really confident with prompting AI and getting what you want. And then the second and most important thing is do not make these prompts by yourself. Do not write them out from scratch. We will use AI, different LLMs of choice. You can use ChatGPT or Claude, whichever one you prefer. So now we're about to hop into ChatGPT to show you how to generate these prompts and make sure that ChatGPT gives you the correct format and has the layers that you want so you can get the best images with Higgsfield. All right, guys, so now we are in ChatGPT, and like I said, you definitely don't want to be writing out these prompts all by yourself from scratch because that's a lot of work and very time consuming. So we're going to use ChatGPT in this example, but this works for any LLM. If you like to use Claude or Google Gemini, you can use that as well. But ChatGPT is the one we're going to use for this example. And this is the prompt that we're going to be using to give it the details it needs to make sure that the outputs it gives us for the prompts are in the format that we want. Like we said, the 6 layers are medium, subject, the action, environment, the style and vibe, and any technical details we give it as well. So this is the prompt right here. We're going to tell it to build a GPT image 2 prompt for all of our requests using this 6-layer structure. And then we're just going to say reply done when ready for prompting. So we're just going to hit enter, and then it's going to think for just a moment, and then it should just reply done. And when it replies done, now we can actually type out what it is that we want from ChatGPT to generate our image. And so cool, it just said done. I'm actually going to take this off of Pro and turn it to instant just so we get some faster responses. So what I'm going to do is generate, I'm going to say provide the prompt for a Caucasian UGC actor selling a collagen supplement. So boom, guys, now you see it actually gave us the details and broke it up via section, which is nice, but we actually don't want this when we're feeding it into Higgsfield. We'd prefer if they were all in just one paragraph. So I'm going to go ahead and tell ChatGPT now, combine all portions, combine all layers into one so I can feed into GPT image 2. So now you'll see, guys, boom, it's went ahead and combined the prompt together, and here we are. Now it's given us the full prompt for this UGC style image that we want to take. And now what we can do is we can actually take this prompt after everything that we've learned, put it into Higgsfield, and get an output that we can check out and see how it goes. All right, guys, so we're here in Higgsfield now. I'm going to hit Command V to go ahead and paste my prompt. You'll see I've got it here. I'm on GPT image 2, which is the model I'd like to use. I want the image quality and the resolution to be as high as possible. And one thing to note in mind, guys, you want to make sure that you always change your aspect ratio to 9:16, because although it says it in the prompt here, if this is set on something else, Higgsfield is going to override and go on the aspect ratio that is set in the settings. So keep that in mind. And yeah, now it looks like we're ready to go. Let's hit generate and see what our output comes out like. And here's our image, guys. So you actually take a look at it. It is very realistic. You see, you know, we've got her smiling. We've got the college in her hand. We've got her in a pretty natural UGC background, which is, you know, a kitchen. And the image model GPT is actually, you know, put in a lot of other natural aesthetics as well. Like you'll see, we've got the addition of this blender here. We've got the addition of these flowers here. It's done a very good job of putting together an actual realistic setting. And, you know, the character obviously here looks pretty well. Now, I want to show you guys the difference between using different models. And a lot of this will come down to experience, because ChatGPT, for example, GPT image 2 came out the most recent, whereas other models may be a little bit older. They have less references and less data and less context. Therefore, images can be sometimes a little bit different, not as well-rounded or well-defined. So now we're going to take this same image and we're going to use it in a different image model like Nano Banana to test the output there. Nothing different with the prompt. We're just going to change the model. All right, so now we're going to swap it to Nano Banana. Let's try Nano Banana 2. And again, make sure guys, you always change the settings, make sure you change the quality, and then we're just gonna leave the batch size to 1, hit generate, and let's see what we get. All right guys, so we've got our output back now from Nano Banana 2, and check this out. This actually looks a bit more UGC in some regards. So if you take a look, you'll see still pretty realistic face, pretty great realistic background. We've got some similar aspects like the smoothie or whatever drink you would kind of consider this. Instead of it being in her hand, it's just on the countertop. We've got the blender, and then if you actually take a look, this looks a little bit better in my opinion than the other collagen container that GPT generated for us. So this was pretty interesting to see. I think it also looks very good. Great image, great base to actually make like a UGC video from, which we'll talk more about later in the course. But I think that this is a great job. Now I want to show you guys something even more interesting. So here we actually did a generation with Nano Banana Pro, and you'll see this one generated another pretty good UGC style image. You know, we've still got similar aspects like the blender, like the granite countertop, like the drink, but on this one, it actually added the text on there. So, you know, pretty interesting. We didn't really ask for it to add this in the prompt, but again, AI guys sometimes will do this. So one thing that you can do is you'll see right here when you're on the image screen, if you'd like to work off of an existing base that you've already made, you can hit this tab called reference, and then you'll see it will actually add the image here. And then what we can do is in the last part of the prompt, you could put no text on screen, just the image of the UGC creator. And then we can regenerate and see the output that it gives us now. And then boom, guys, as you guys can see now, with just the addition of that one line at the bottom, no text on screen, just the image of the UGC creator, we pretty much got the exact same image, just no text on screen. It's just her, same pose, same collagen in her hand. Nothing else has changed. The only difference is now we just removed that awful text on screen. Instead of working backwards and going back to like scrapping the image and thinking that it's worthless, you can just reference that same image and then build on the existing prompt that you have without going out and changing too many details. So yeah, guys, this is really good. I think these are really good outputs. So now what we're gonna do is I want to share with you guys a little bit more about the other image models that Higgsfield has that are really cool for you guys to make some really unique other styles of content like animation, cinematic stuff, and even like some film-based retrograde-y like Instagram style stuff that is pretty cool. So let's hop into that next. All right, guys, now let's break down Higgsfield Soul. And the cool thing about this model is one, it's exclusive to Higgsfield, so you're not going to be able to find this on like other AI platforms. This is exclusive to Higgsfield. The cool thing about it is that this model is all about authentic realism. You are going to get some of the most realistic outputs that you can possibly get when it comes to using image models with AI. And that's what I really like about it, because these images are very Instagram, like realistic, like almost as if they were shot by like some old school Fuji film, or even similar to like being shot on like an iPhone 16 or a 17 Pro. So another thing to keep in mind with Higgsfield Soul is that it's most receptive, guys, for your prompts if you're using layers 1 through 4. It doesn't do very well when you give it like mood and technical specifications, like what camera you shot it on, because it has its own native settings for those already kind of integrated in the model. So I would say for best prompting practices, make sure that you're using layers 1 through 4 and kind of staying away from like the mood and the tone and the technical specifications. So I'm actually going to take the same prompt that we used in our first example, and let's go ahead and set our settings up. We want to get 9:16 again for that vertical aspect ratio. Higgsfield Soul only goes in 2K max quality, but I'm going to show you guys something really cool to even get better image quality when using this model. And further in the course. And then we're going to turn prompt enhance off. This setting, if you turn it on, will make some adjustments and improvements to your prompts. But just for this example, we're going to turn it off. And then I'm going to set this to 1, and then we're going to go ahead and hit generate and see what we get.
What's up, everyone? If you've enjoyed the video so far, it would mean the world to me if you left a like. It lets me know to keep making videos like this. And one of the things that's really unique is that these AIs have created so much opportunity, and it's a real opportunity that's in demand right now because business owners, brands that sell anything worldwide rely on content to make money and get customers. And now with these AI tools like Higgsfield, it's so much easier to make images, videos, different types of videos with different people in different places talking about different products and different things to sell. And it's created so much opportunity for regular people like you and me to learn these tools that business owners have no idea how to use and make advertisements and content for them that they will pay a lot of money for. And so if you've watched this course so far and that's interested you and you think that you would love to learn a skill like using these AIs from home and make an extra couple $1,000 a month, I host a training where I go really in depth on this stuff. It's completely free, and I'll show you how to use these tools and how to find a business or a brand that'll pay you a couple $1,000 a month for you to help make them advertisements for them to make money. And all you have to do is click the link in the description. Again, it's completely free, guys, no pressure. But if this is a skill you want to learn, it's super relevant, in demand, and it's new. Anything that's new and emerging, there's a lot of opportunity to make money and be really successful. So again, the link's in the description. I hope y'all have enjoyed, and let's head back to the video.
And here we are, guys. Super, super realistic. Check this image out. She looks absolutely incredible. You even see there's a lot of realism with this model. Like I said, like it focuses on just authentic outputs. I mean, check this out. Look at this facial realism, guys. She's got like the dimples here. You know, she has like some moles and like facial texture here on her forehead. Even the eyebrows like aren't super perfect. Like you see how a couple hairs are kind of leading up here. She has nice hazel eyes. Really, really incredible realism that you get with Higgsfield Soul. So if you're going for like as authentic and as realistic outputs as possible, Higgsfield Soul is definitely top tier model for you guys. So now I want to actually show you guys something unique that we haven't talked about with these image models, and that's Higgsfield's character tool. So what you can do with Higgsfield is you can actually clone yourself and have it generate images of you in the outputs. So for example, you'll see here, if you click this character button, Higgsfield will let you upload photos from multiple angles to basically create a character. And all you need to do is take about 20 photos of yourself. One cohesive style is the way you're going to build the best character. And then you'll see you can build a character. For example, I've built myself in this instance. And if I click character, now I'm able to essentially build scenes and outputs with myself as the reference image. So now let's say, for this example, I am posing in a European city street wearing a modern outfit, holding a coffee and cigarette in my other hand. And now, guys, let's see what Higgsfield Soul gives us with myself as the character base with this prompt. All right, guys, so check this out. This is the image that that Higgsfield Soul gave us. Pretty accurate. Like you'll see, you know, my beard and my my mustache is pretty spot on. Like my hair texture, my facial texture, pretty spot on. Gave this nice addition of the glasses. I mean, this basically looks, guys, like it was shot on iPhone. Super realistic. You'll see I'm wearing like some jeans, and this is very like a modern European fit. And I've got the small latte here in my hand with the cigarette in the other, and I've even got like a looks like a crossbody mail bag there. So like I said, guys, Higgsfield Soul is incredible when it comes to authentic, realistic outputs. It's awesome because if you can just build a good character, either for yourself or someone else, and just have very good reference images, you can pretty much put yourself in any environment, and now you have endless content. Like, this is a photo that, you know, I could post to my Instagram or to some social platform, and someone might guess that I was actually in Europe. You know, you see even, you know, someone back here in the environment, you'll see the cars are here, you see this tree, just very, very natural. I mean, the details even all the way down to kind of like you know, leaves and like some trash on the floor. Very, very authentic, guys. And you can't get this level of authenticism with any other model but Higgsfield Soul. And even our prompt here, guys, is another thing I want to highlight. You'll see there's a very simple, straightforward prompt. The only thing we had was the subject, I am, the environment, European city street, what I was wearing, and then my action, holding a cigarette and a coffee in my hand. So very straightforward prompt, guys. We only covered 3 layers and still got an incredible output like this because Higgsfield Soul is just a great model to, and it's been trained on realism very well to give you authentic outputs. So that is Higgsfield Soul, guys. I think y'all will have a lot of fun with this to make those really neat, like Instagram, social media style posts. Even if you're going for like UGC, Higgsfield Soul is a great one because, you know, just like this photo, you can get really incredible outputs. And what's great is you get a lot of free credits with Higgsfield that they give you to use their models. So keep that in mind. All right, guys. So now we're at the point where it's good to talk about image quality, especially after going over Higgsfield Soul. So some models, like I mentioned earlier in this course, don't have the ability to give you image quality in 4K and some of the higher resolutions, Higgsfield Soul being one of them. It actually caps out at 2K. And with some images, you'll see the image quality is actually pretty good. But for some, like for example, maybe this one, we probably want this to look a little bit sharper and a little bit more detailed. I could argue even for this one, we could go for a little more sharpness and detail. You can use a tool that Higgsfield has in it called image upscale. And all image upscaling is taking that image, putting it in an AI model, which will then increase the resolution and then take like a 2K image to even a 4K and even some upscale up to 8K. So let's go ahead and do that now. First thing we're gonna do is let's go ahead and download both of our images. So we're gonna take the image of the beautiful young lady here and then also the image of myself. And then right here on image, you see if you scroll down, you're gonna see my camera's in the way here. But if you're gonna click image upscale, and then image upscale is going to take you to this screen, which is going to allow you to upload any images and even videos to enhance the resolution and get better quality. All right, guys, so once you upload your image, you'll see here, you'll have a tab on the right, and the model that it defaults to is Topaz. You can just leave this the same, don't change this. And then the scale factor will determine how much you want to upscale the image. Keep in mind 2 things. The higher you set it, the longer it's going to take for your output to come out, because obviously the model has to work a bit longer to upscale it better. And then it's also going to take more credits. So right now we're on 1x, which is essentially nothing. At 2x, this is 4K. And then at 4x, you can actually upscale to 8K. So I'm going to click 4K just for this example. And then under advanced settings, if you want to adjust some of these deeper things like sharpness and denoise, and even turn on face enhancement, you can. I typically leave these alone because it's the simplest approach, and you just let the model just change the resolution and up it. So we're gonna leave everything the same here. We're just gonna upscale to 4K and tap upscale. You see that's gonna cost us 2 credits, and let's see how it looks. All right, guys, and our generation is done. So now we have the upscaled image down here, and then we have the original image down here. And because you have this overlay which dims it, and then it has the upscale here, the best way, guys, for you to be able to see is come down here to the bottom left and turn on compare. And this may be difficult for some of you guys to see watching, but you can tell like we definitely have a lot brighter skin tones. The environment looks a lot sharper. Nice highlights here. And even if I zoom in just a tad bit here, you'll see we've got image sharpness on a lot of the face, the facial structures, and even parts of the beard look a lot sharper and nice. So Already a great image, guys. I thought it looked pretty good even before the upscale, but you know, now just for an extra 2 credits, now we turned an image that was in 2K resolution up to 4K, which is incredible. So really great to see there. Now let's actually try it out with the face of our young lady. And because her face was very close to the camera, it was a very up close and personal shot. I think we'll be able to see an even bigger difference. So same settings, guys. I'm just going to take her from 2K to 4K. I'm not going to touch any other settings, and I'm going to go ahead and hit upscale. And I'm actually going to leave this part unedited because I want you guys to see in fast speed how long an image upscale actually takes from going from 2K to 4K. So let's find out. And boom, guys. So we just got done. Didn't take quite that long. I'll put the time on screen. I actually wasn't timing it myself, but look at the image difference we got this time, guys. Look at how much sharper her skin looks. Let me zoom in here. You'll see the before and after, very blurry, very dark in this area, but then you'll just see like how much brighter, how much more cleaner and sharp it looks here. Really incredible to see how nice this image looks. So I love it. I think this looks fantastic. And again, for extra 2 credits, you know, to be able to upscale an image is incredible. So I highly recommend for all of you guys that are new to Higgsfield, if you're generating images in any 2K model, or even if you're using 2K on maybe some of the models that have 4K, to get an upscale and turn basically double the resolution of an image from 2 to 4K for only 2 credits is amazing. So highly, highly recommend you guys leverage the power of image upscale. All right, guys, so the next feature I want to show you guys is great for making adjustments to your images. Sometimes you may get images created and you just want to change something very small and subtle. Like for example, maybe I want to change this coffee cup that I'm holding or the cigarette in my hand. And instead of re-prompting the entire image, or coming in here and waiting for the model to generate this for you, you can use a tool that's a little bit faster and can just adjust that one small thing you want called InPaint. And if you go to image and you come right here, you'll see it down here on the far left. All you need to do is go ahead and upload your image. For this example, I'm going to upload. And so once this pulls up, guys, you'll see really great job. This was done by Higgsfield Soul, actually. And you'll see if you compare it actually to the original album cover image, I'll put it up on screen here to see. It's very accurate, but maybe there are some things that I want to change about it to make it a little bit unique. So what I can do is I'm on the paint tool right here, and I can just kind of cover over these bracelets. And let's say I'm not a big fan of these bracelets being diamond. I want to change them to gold. So let's say change these diamond bracelets to gold. And then you're just going to hit generate and let's see what InPaint does. And boom, guys, check this out. So we actually got really nice diamond gold. We got really nice gold bracelets here with just a simple, 5-word prompt. And this is actually really good. I'm pleasantly surprised with how these came out. These look really nice. And let's say we want to make some other adjustments too, like I could change the the color of my watch. I could change the type of watch. I could add additional jewelry on my hands. Maybe I wanted to add like an earring or like a necklace here across my neck. There's tons of things I could do in InPaint. And for those of you guys that want to make those sort of quick adjustments and edits, you can do them here in InPaint. Let's do another. So I want to actually pop over to the image of me in Europe holding the coffee and the cigarette. So let's actually change this coffee. I'm not a big fan of coffee. I'm more so in like a matcha vibe. So let's change this coffee to a matcha let's just say change this coffee to a matcha, and let's see what output InPaint gives us. All right, so we've got our adjustment, guys, and you'll see that this matcha probably should have been a bit more specific on this prompt, but you'll see that, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, AI only does as good of a job as your prompt. With certain things, guys, simple prompts can get you the results you're looking for, like our last example. But let's actually refine this prompt and see if we can get a little better. So I'm going to change this prompt from change this coffee to a matcha in a to-go cup with a straw in a, let's say, see-through to-go cup with a straw. Okay, now we're talking, guys. Check this out. So with our refined prompt, you'll see we actually got a much better output. This is exactly what we were looking for compared to, something like this. We got this now, which is it's much more aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't look AI generated. It matches, I'm kind of looking like there's something in the matcha. So just with, guys, a simple addition of see-through to-go cup with a straw gave us exactly the output we were looking for. So goes to show you the power of InPaint, guys. And again, really hits home on that point that the better your prompts are, the better AI understands what exactly you want and what you're looking for. So 2 examples of how to use InPaint. And if you ever want to make small adjustments to your images, guys, instead of working back and like changing this big long prompt that you have, you can always just throw your image in InPaint and it's all centralized here in Higgsfield. Drop a few words, you should be able to get the adjustment you're looking for. All right, guys, we've spent a ton of time on the image side of Higgsfield, which was great. It was amazing. We made some really cool stuff and learned some great tools. But now it's time we move over to the video side of Higgsfield. And man, this is going to be mind-blowing for you guys because the things you can do with AI video models, if you thought image stuff was great, wait till we start making some cool stuff with AI video. So we're on the Higgsfield homepage. We're just gonna pop up here to video, and you could just hit create video. This will take you to the first little tab where you'll see your dashboard. And then now, instead of the chat bar being on the bottom of the screen, you'll see it's on the left. There are some new things in this dashboard that I want to go over, but it's relatively the same. So don't feel intimidated or confused or anything. So first, let me go over start frame and end frame. So the cool thing about video models, guys, is you can set reference frames just like the image models to give the AI direction on how you want the video to start, but then also how you want the video to end. And that will kind of give AI a starting and an end point, and then everything in between you detail throughout with the prompts. Here you'll see multi-shot. There's an option to turn this on, which allows you guys to make several shots and then combine them into one video. And then you've got your prompt chat box here where you can essentially type your prompts. Prompt enhance, you can either turn on or off. You can generate videos with or without sound, completely up to you. And then elements, you can even reference characters with certain models. Like for example, here you'll see I've created my own character. If I want to reference myself as an element in this video generation, I can. The image model, you can choose right here. You'll see that some of these are actually new, and then Kling 3.0 is actually exclusive to Higgsfield, which is pretty cool. You can choose the duration for your videos. Some video models, guys, they have time constraints for how long you can generate a video for, but some of them go as high as up to 15 seconds, which is pretty incredible for just, one prompt in one generation. And then you'll see this is the dimensions you're going to have it in. So 16 by 9, 9 by 16, and 1 by 1, which is square. And then you also see the resolution here. Some models, guys, don't go higher than 1080p. 4K is typically the max that you'll find, but again, remember we have video upscale, which we touched on in the image section, that we'll also test out here. And one thing you'll notice, guys, is that video model's definitely on the heftier side when it comes to the credits. If you want a full 15-second long video, it's going to cost you around 30 credits, which can get, you know, pricey if you're generating a lot of stuff. But there's also neat things that you can do. And if you see, you know, you bump it up to 4K, that pretty much triples the credit amount. You know, we pay 30 credits for a 1080p video, and you pay 90 for a 15-second 4K video. So keep in mind, like, the credits do get bulky because obviously generating videos with AI is very intense and it costs a lot of electricity. Henceforth, that's why it costs more credits. But now let's actually go through, guys, and let's prompt and start making some videos. All right, guys, so we are back into ChatGPT, and what we're going to do now is we are going to get a prompt to generate our first AI video. We're going to start with no references first because I want you guys to get an idea and get in the good, you know, habit of, you know, making those prompts that follow that 6-layer framework. So remember, medium, subject, action, environment, the style and vibe, and then also the technical details. The same framework, guys, applies to making prompts with video as it does with images. Let's ask ChatGPT, generate me a prompt for a couple posing in front of the Eiffel Tower for photos. They are embracing each other with love and affection. The time is early evening and the sun is just going down. I want the video to look organic, as if it was shot on an iPhone 16. And let's see, guys, what our prompt output comes out to. It seems that ChatGPT is actually generating me an image, which I don't want, but that's not a problem. We're just going to say, give me the prompt to feed into a video model. You see, GPT actually generated a pretty decent image, and perfect. All right, cool. I think this is a pretty solid prompt, guys. So we're just going to go ahead and copy this prompt. We're going to head over to Higgsfield now and go ahead, drop this prompt in. I don't want this video generation to take a long time, but 5 seconds is also pretty good. I'm actually going to make it a little bit longer. Let's make it 7 seconds. And now we're just going to go ahead and hit generate and see you guys back for our output. And all right, guys, check this out. So our video generation is done, and I'm gonna actually mute this video so that way we can watch it together. Even without sound, guys, like, this looks so organic, so real. You wouldn't even think that this was generated with AI. Like, it has an authentic iPhone look. The Eiffel Tower's in the background. There's people in the background. He's lovingly embracing, you know, his partner. And man, this is just like an incredible video right here. And mind you, guys, this was done with no reference at all, just a very strong prompt. If you just have really strong, good prompts, you can generate very organic looking videos that look like this, that I'm sure if you posted this on social media and ran a poll and said, do you think this was generated by AI? You know, it'd be very difficult for people to distinguish whether this was real or not. Now, what we're gonna do is let's actually take a reference, an image that we generated from earlier in this video, and take that and now turn that image to video with a simple prompt as well. We're gonna take this image that we generated earlier in this video, use it to generate a video, and we're gonna hop over to the video models. But before we do, I wanna kind of mention that what I do with the prompting is actually gonna be, some of you might be surprised, it's gonna be a lot shorter, and I'll explain once we hop over to the video side. So let's head there now. We got our start frame uploaded, which is the image of our actor with the collagen, and now I'm ready to write the prompt. My prompting is gonna be a little bit different than the 6-layer framework that we've been talking about in this video, and it's gonna be a lot shorter and simple. And many of you might ask why, but the reason is because we already have all of those layers built into the image itself. Like for example, we have the environment, we have the pose. So it's like we also have the tone and the technical specifications. It's very organic, it's shot on iPhone. All of that is naturally in the image itself. So all we need to do now is actually just give the AI the action and any other clear instructions regarding what she's going to be doing. So that's why the prompt is going to be a lot simpler. And I'm not even going to really use AI to generate it, because I want to see if we can one shot naturally do this. And then without complicating things with a big long prompt, if the short prompt doesn't come out to all the details that we want, then we can just add on top of it and make it better. No camera movement, because I don't want the AI model to zoom in or do any like weird motion movements. So I'm going to say, instead of no camera movement, I'm going to say static camera movement. Clear influencer tone. She speaks with natural hand movements. The secret to my clear skin are these supplements. Cool. And then now let's hit generate and see what we get.
Wangfist soft ribbit by the secret to my clear skin are these supplements.
So you'll notice, guys, that we had a little bit of like random communication in the beginning, and AI will do that sometimes if your clip is a little bit too long, because there's extra space that it has to kind of come up with to, you know, essentially like fix the gap in the clip. So you'll notice that the first 2 seconds was a bit weird, but if we listen to it without the audio, guys, very natural looking clip, natural hand movements. She's, you know, look, she even gave it a subtle nudge at the collagen container itself, and very clear influencer tone as she kind of spoke. So you see the AI had her kind of say a little bit of something weird. But now and the simple solution to that, guys, is you usually just shorten the clip by a second or two. You shorten the clip by a second or two and then regenerate it. Usually that's where you won't have that issue. Or even in video editing tools like CapCut, you can simply just cut that stuff out. But pretty good for our first generation. You'll see that she looks very natural. She doesn't look very AI generated at all. And there's so many different use cases for stuff like this. So now I want us to go ahead and regenerate this video with the shorter length to show you guys that we can cut out like that awkward little gap, save some credits, and then we're also going to get into some other cool video models and show you guys some neat filmmaking cinematic style stuff that I think you guys will like a lot. So first, let's regenerate this and get a much better output. The same prompt, same clip, same reference image, but instead you'll see the difference is this one was 7 seconds and now this one's 5 seconds. So let's check out the output on this one.
The secret to my clear skin are these supplements.
So boom, you'll see no, you know, like weird generated audio in the beginning before she actually said what we wanted her to say. So playing around with the video length, guys, is usually how you solve those issues. Like if you ever get any weird audio, it's just because your clip is a little bit too long. So keep that in mind, number one. Now let's have a little fun, and we're gonna take the exact same reference image, same prompt, but we're just going to use different video models to generate them, just to show you how different models are better for different things. Number one, I'm going to use Google Veo first, and Veo 3.1 Lite is the newest model. So I'm going to do it same prompt. We're going to do same length here. Let's do 6 seconds because they don't have anything longer than that. And we're going to do 1080p. It says it only supports 6 seconds. Well, okay. All right. It only supports 8 seconds, which is fine. So let's go ahead and generate one with Google Veo 3.1. And then we're also going to generate one with Seedance 2.0 just to see how the outputs turn out. All right, guys. So we've got our 2 generations with Veo Lite and Seedance ready. So let's play these and check them out and see how they contrast with what Kling gave us.
The secret to my clear skin are these supplements.
So pretty solid generation here from Veo. You'll notice that because we went in 8 seconds, she started off with the actual vocals that she was supposed to speak, the script. But then at the end, you'll notice she gave us a little like just extra like posing, smiling. This is actually pretty good for B-roll. For example, if you're maybe making like a product ad or something like that, while she's speaking, you could maybe put like her expressions and the emotion she's showing after using the collagen. You'll notice one thing about VO is that the audio does sound very airy. It's almost as if someone's kind of like communicating through like a tin can. But for the most part, visually, it actually looks pretty good. You know, natural hand movements like in the prompt, and the expressions were a pretty nice touch. So overall, solid generation. And the great thing about VO was that it actually came much faster than Seedance. Seedance took quite a long time and it was 2 seconds shorter. But nonetheless, let's check out Seedance and actually see how this one came out. Already I can kind of tell like the skin texturing and just color wise, like of her skin, it looks darker, it looks more realistic. So let's check this one out and see how it goes.
The secret to my clear skin, ours, are these supplements.
So really interesting with this generation, guys. You'll notice that this one, the speaking was a lot slower. She does have pretty natural hand movements and stuff, but what's actually pretty interesting is we got some UGC background music. I don't know if you guys heard that. Very similar to a product style ad. I'm going to turn the sound on. So even you'll notice, one, you heard the UGC music, but even it veered off script just a little bit. So that's some, you know, refining that you have to do in the prompt just to make sure that she speaks what you want correctly. But overall, still not a bad generation. I still think Kling 3.0 so far was the best one overall, but that just goes to show you guys that each model, guys, is built differently, it's trained differently, and it's not a one size fits all. You really need to go in and play with these video models to get a good grasp of how they work, how they kind of like react to your prompts, because you'll see we didn't change anything in the reference image or the prompt at all, but 3 different models gave us 3 different results. So it's very important that you guys get in, y'all play with these tools and get a good idea of, you know, how they react to different prompts, because they're all different. So but nonetheless, guys, I think 3 very solid generations. I think they were all pretty good.
If you guys have been enjoying this course, guys, man, AI has just completely changed the way the world is run, but also how business is done and money is made. And right now, with what I've taught you in this video so far, how to make AI videos, AI UGC, there's a small group of people that are taking the exact same tool, Higgsfield, and making these videos, but they're making them for brands and companies, advertisements, helping them sell their products. And man, it's unlike anything I've ever seen, because, you know, now you just need simple tools and softwares to start a business. You can do it from home, and you don't even have to be good on camera anymore now, because literally the AI will say whatever script you write, and you can make tons of AI avatars of males, females, young, old, selling any product for anyone, all from the comfort of your own home. So I've been in business for a long time, well over 5 years, and this is by far, I think, the most simple, lucrative, and high upside early opportunity I've ever seen. I can't really say how incredible it is. And because of that, I want to help a lot more people take advantage of really using everything I've taught in this course to actually make an extra couple $1,000s a month. I'm really passionate about it. This stuff changed my life, and I know it can also change yours. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave a link in the description to a completely free workshop that I'm gonna be hosting. You can just click the link, you can register for it, and I'm gonna break down in about an hour and a half, 90 minutes live with you, how you can make these AI avatars and sell brands and businesses advertisements and monetize this skill. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you and you want to learn how to do it and you want to make an extra couple $1,000 from home with very little work and not risk tens of thousands of dollars of your hard-earned savings on some physical or old like retired business model, click that link, register. No obligation, guys, but I'm really passionate about this stuff. And if you've made it this far to this video, I think that you're driven and interested in it too. So click that link in the description, register for my workshop, and I'd love to see you guys. But in the meantime, let's get back to the video.
All right, now let's talk about one of the biggest things that AI struggles with and how to fix it, and that's character consistency. So, right now, every new generation you create has a risk in slight variations from your base image or your original generation that you made. Meaning, with each generation, maybe the skin's a little different, maybe their facial structure is a little different, maybe the proportions are a little off. That happens, guys, with AI. So one of the best things that you can do to have character consistency, like you want your model, or the image you generated as the base to look the same across multiple different angles, scenes, generations, environments, whatever you want to change, you want to maintain this. The best thing that you can do is create something called a character sheet, because all a character sheet does is gives these AI models reference points from, different angles, different shots. It gives the AI models exactly what they need to be able to place this character in a different environment, keep the face the same, put them in different clothes, but still keep the face the same without having to do the guesswork. It's kind of like video games, guys, when they want to generate characters, they plot a lot of different points on their face because the more data points, the easier it is for them to recreate that character in any different situation. So let's talk about how we're going to create the character sheet, and we're about to do that now together. You'll see I've got this image, guys, of a beautiful Latina with black hair. We're about to take her and now create a character sheet. So there's two different types. There's the facial references. So for example, it's a character sheet with a bunch of different angles of the face. And then you have full body type stuff if you're trying to more so change environments, like maybe you want to take a full body photo from the beach to Saint Tropez or to a night in Tokyo or anywhere. So we're going to use this reference image, take her to our chat box, and let's create the different angles from the face for that character sheet. All you need to do is just hit reference in the bottom right or download your image, upload it right here, and then copy and paste this prompt. And what you're going to do is pick your image model. I actually have been liking GPT image 2 for a change, and then change your aspect ratio to 16:9. It just shows the images a lot more clearly side by side. And then pick your batch size and let's hit generate. All right, guys, so check this out. Gave us the front profile, at an angle on both here, full side profile at 90 degrees, and then another kind of front facing one, but this one's angled a little up, so the camera's kind of looking down on her. And this is great. This is incredible. We just got so many different profiles of the exact same character. So that way, maybe if we want to take a bit of an ARF guard or a different shape, if we just wanted to put her in different environments, it'll be the same photo and the same exact look. And that doesn't look very organic or UGC-like at all. So now we've got all the face images and angle points. Now we're going to go to full body back into our chat box to generate those. Same exact thing. We're going to have our reference image here that you can either download or take from from Higgsfield's generation tool, and then copy and paste this prompt. And now I'll make sure to give you guys all of these prompts. Just check the description below. And then I'm going to stick with ChatGPT image 2. It's been really great for UGC. Resolution high, same settings, and we generate. Boom. Now check this out, guys. We've got entire full body from head to toe, side profile, behind, fully behind. And this will basically give AI what you need to generate in so many different environments, so many different poses, profiles. And what you can do here is if you just hit this like button here, you can actually create this and add this to a character folder. So that way, anytime you go, you want to generate your character, you want to make, let's say, UGC carousels for your AI influencer, or you want to make really great UGC ads with close-ups, wide bodies, maybe her on a couch talking about a product or working out in the gym and different outfits. So many different things you can do, and you're just going to control the variables of her overall facial structure, her body, her arm tone, and you can mix and match this for anything. Let's say you want a gym girl, you can make sure that all her body aesthetics, like her ab structure, her arms, and her face looks the same. Or let's say you want a model like this, and she's modeling for a bunch of different brands. Same thing, guys. But the point is that character consistency is the biggest bottleneck right now with AI, which is why the number one thing you can do if you're trying to make sure AI UGC is done very well is you got to create these character sheets. You got to give AI the references so that it can hold that stable character you've created. And naturally you'll just make better content if the character looks the same. So now let's get into like some neat cinema, like professional graded stuff that we can have a lot of fun with. So we're about to hop on over to Cinema Studio and show you guys how to kind of make some Spielberg or some movie level Hollywood stuff. All right, guys, now we are in Higgsfield Cinema Studio, and this is where things get really exciting because all the video work that we've done up to this point has been very UGC natural. Those things can be replicated with an iPhone, but something like Cinema Studio essentially gives you the power of like a multi-million-dollar Hollywood film set in the palm of your hands right here in Higgsfield. So what we're going to do today is we are essentially going to make an action scene, and we're going to start by doing two things first. We need to develop a character, and then we need to set a location before we actually generate our video. Because remember, anytime you give AI references, that's when you're going to have the best results. So first thing we're going to start with is setting up the character. So when you're in Cinema Studio, right up top, you just click Cinema Studio and you'll be directed to this dashboard. It's pretty simple. You have image and then video right here. A couple different models you can choose from, but we're going to stick to Soul Cinema. And then as far as the aspect ratio, you'll see 21:9 is the most cinematic one. So just stick to 21:9. And then on quality, you want to keep this at 2K, which is the max. Again, if we want to image upscale and video upscale, we can do that. So not a big deal. But these are the settings that we have. We're going to turn the generation down to 1 and leave everything else blank. For now, I'm going to tell it to generate me a CIA operative in a CIA operative. I'm going to tell it just to keep it simple. Generate me a CIA operative in an all black suit with visors. All right, cool guys. So this is the output that the Cinema Studio gave us. Really cool. It's got intense motion blur in the background, and it's got like that grainy film footage feel. So now what we're going to do, guys, is let's set up a location. So what we're going to do is go down here to our image models, and we're going to hit cinematic locations. So now we're going to pick a location that, you know, we want for this scene. Let's say a rundown motel hallway at night. All right, solid guys. So this is the output that we got for the motel hallway. It gives a very like horror vibe, a little more than I had liked, but to be honest, for the purpose of this, it's pretty good. So now what we're going to do, guys, is we are going to take both the character and the image, and we're going to now take them over to the Cinema Studio video model so that we can actually generate our action scene. The CIA operative is fighting off enemies who are attempting to capture him. Now we're going to switch it to Cinema Studio 3.5 because obviously that is the newest one, of course. All right, so now we've got our CIA operative, we'll name him Charles, and our hotel scene right here. So now we're going to say CIA operative is fighting enemies that want to capture him. All right, so now guys, we're going to leave the resolution and all this stuff pretty much the same. I'm going to leave this as 21:9. We'll do one image generation and let's hit generate. We are using a lot of credits. It's 80 for 8 seconds long, but let's see what Cinema Studio can come up with for us. And all right, guys, our generation is complete. So let's check it out and see what Cinema Studio made for us. So that was pretty incredible, guys. I mean, basically made like a movie, like a movie action scene where our operative here, Charles, is fighting off an enemy. You'll see, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in this part, you'll see he kind of morphed into, you know, he kind of morphed into the spot of the enemy that he was fighting. And then, you know, Cinema Studio interpreted him as the enemy. So pretty interesting, but you'll see, guys, that you can basically make Hollywood level movie scenes now just with simple prompts and AI, and that took 5 minutes to generate and maybe like a couple bucks. So not only what's unique about this, guys, in Cinema Studio, you can make these concepts, which is really unique, but you can also make other concepts like anime. Let's go right back to Soul Cinema. Let's generate some anime characters that we can then use in Cinema Studio, and let's make this exact same fighting scene, but an anime style version. So I'm going to start with generate an anime character who fights with fire in his hand, and let's go ahead and generate this and see what we get. And while we're generating our anime character, I'm going to work on the location as well. So a modern city night that is in anime style, and then let's generate the location as well. You'll see we actually got our character, and this is a pretty good looking image. You'll see it's got the anime character in what looks to be like a suit, and you'll see he fights with fire in his hand, and there he is. He has fire in his hands. Granted, these prompts, guys, are very simple and straightforward. If you want to be a lot more detailed, remember, most of the principles that we used earlier in this video, or that we talked about, like the 6-layer prompt framework, using AI, using other images to direct the AI into having better outputs. You need to use those, of course, but mind you, just for the purpose of going through Cinema Studio, I'm kind of just making prompts very simple and straightforward just off the top of my head, just to show you guys the concept. So you'll see, check this out, guys. We got our modern city night right here. It looks very anime style. And so what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and use these. All right, guys, so same concept. We've got both of our images, the location and the character, placed in the chat box. And then we've also got just a simple direct prompt, an action fight scene with our characters, fast-paced and thrilling with anime music in the background. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and hit generate. We're not going to change any of the settings, one batch, and let's see what we get with Cinema Studio. And here we are, guys. So our fight scene's ready. Let's check it out. Not bad, guys. Not bad at all. I think what's impressive about Cinema Studio is that it can do a really good job, guys, of, even without a lot of direction, putting together a really good output, without much detail or much reference. We could have added a lot more photos for, let's say, like the character that he's fighting. In this example, we didn't. So, Cinema Studio generated one for him. And even like other multi-shot angles, like the zoom in you see right there at the end, the first punch that comes in with the fire in his hands, really incredible. Much better than any other AI model that you would find that we used earlier in this video. So that's a breakdown, guys, of Cinema Studio and how you can make film-like or anime-like outputs when it comes to video generation. Cinema Studio is an incredible tool if you want to make really dope stuff.